Okay, so here's part two. I find it was basically I liked the song "Seek and Destroy." Heard it through. This was about the same time that Some Kind of Monster. So I'm 16. And I went through a weird phase with Metallica. Bought Saint Anger on I believe it was Columbus Day of that year, around the same time, basically around the time when it first got released, because I was so excited for a new Metallica album, and lo and behold, I haven't listened to that album in 7 years. I hate it now. I hate Death Pathetic, as it's been called, or what I call it, Death Crapnetic, but Death Pathetic sounds better. Um, Incidentally, first time I heard that was at the Big Four. um, okay, so I'm discovering that starting to get into basics of thrash metal and so on. I'm liking what I'm hearing. So I'm buying the old Metallica. I'm listening to Kill 'Em All more and more. I like it for the speed, so I start branching out. Um, I start branching out, and so this is a couple years later now. This is the summer of 2006. I'm watching um, MTV2, which back then they were still doing Headbangers Ball, but you can't really call it that because it was just a stupid idea to relaunch it with the way that they did it. Jamie Just is an idiot, just FYI, in my opinion. But anyway, I see an advertisement for Christ Illusion, and I'd heard about Slayer at that point, but only heard of them. I'd gone to Ozfest the previous year, and they were on the '04 tour, so I'd heard about them from going to that concert. They were still talking about it. So Slayer had been kind of on my brain. I was thinking about it. So I'm like, okay, I figured this. I heard Slayer, so I knew they were a band. I knew they were aggressive at music and stuff that you really shouldn't be listening to. But I figured, hey, you know, I'll give them a chance. You know, and I figured that, you know, I'll buy an album. I'll give them a chance. Don't like it. I can say, hey, I did give them a listen, so I gave them a fair shake. So go to Wikipedia, look up their discography. Um, found out about Show No Mercy. Go to eBay, buy the album, listen to it. Um, and coincidentally, on the way to church. Now think about that for a second. Um, but anyway, didn't really care for it. Really bad production, really hard to hear, which I hadn't gotten used to. It hadn't really fully understood yet. Um, because I didn't know about the '80s scene and the heavy metal stuff from that era yet. I didn't fully understand. It wasn't completely in my conscience yet. Um, anyway, on the way on the way back, I give it another listen. And I hear the scream, "I am the Antichrist" from Tom, and something clicked. Just like that, it clicked. And ever since then, you know, they just it went on and on and on. I started buying more and more albums. I immediately went and bought Christ Illusion and listened to that album like 3 times a day for like 3 or 4 months straight. I mean, it was I personally, I like that album a lot. I mean, I know a lot of people don't, but I mean to have, I mean to have, you know, Dave back in the band, you know, and going mad, which again I didn't know at the time. I knew afterwards, but still, I mean, I think it's an amazing album. Some agree, some disagree, and to each their own. But that was, I think I hold that album in a little higher esteem because of my personal experience with it. Um, so then I start buying more and more. I get to Rain and Blood, and then it grows on me, and it just explodes. Um, and originally the original thought was just to get 4 or 5 Slayer albums and then stop, because you know because that's really kind of enough from one band. And then I started buying a few more vinyl pieces, and then everything just spiraled out of control. I've got like 50 albums, and that's just the vinyl. C's are a whole other story. It's a mess. I'm a little crazy. Um, but you already know that when it comes to Slayer. Um, okay, so that's basically up to Slayer. It it moves again to um, branching out into something heavier because I wanted something a little bit heavier, something a little bit different. So I'm watching uh, Metal Headbanger's Journey um, on VH1, um, like a year or two after its release, and Sam Dunn, um, who's gone on to do a lot of stuff with Iron Maiden, and did another he did another doc on heavy metal called Global Metal, which is also great. Not as great as Headbanger's Journey, um, but still really good. Definitely worth seeing. You can probably find it on YouTube. Um, if not, go buy it, download it, whatever. Um, but he reads lyrics from the death metal band Autopsy, from the song Charred Remains. And again, instantly hooked. And the cover, which is the from the Severed Survival album, with the zombie surgeons, it just instantly captivated a stupid, you know, teenager like myself, that's into death and destruction and all kinds of nonsense. And I still am, by the way. Probably why I can't keep a girlfriend, but that's again a whole other story. Um, so it changes again. I start getting into Autopsy, Cannibal Corpse, and few other death metal bands. I'm really not the biggest death metal fan. I'm more into the thrash stuff because for me, death metal is really it's kind of a grating and grinding on myself. It's a really I don't know. For me, it's a really taxing experience. For one, I can't really I don't like it if I can't understand the vocals, whether from a production standpoint or whether the mix on an album is or whatever. If I can't really understand the vocalist and what he or she is saying, I really can't get into it unless it's unless they got a they're good for like a mosh pit or something, live concert. That really changes everything because you can get into it that way. But for me, I gotta, and I'm going over time, so I'll speed this up. Um, so I get into death metal, and then you know, uh, but the other thing was basically at this point, I pretty much will listen to anything. Because I have, I'm really, and historically, I've always been the only one that's been into metal and the only one that's been into Slayer. When I was in high school, I had one friend that was into Slayer and death metal and all that, like myself. But for the most part, I've been the only one of my group of friends to listen to metal or anything like that. Most of my friends listen to rap, which is okay. I'm starting to like rap. I like old rap, old hip hop, like NWA, Public Enemy, Run DMC, the old stuff I like. I do like Eminem, and I have his song "Cleaning Up My Closet" really helped me when I was a teenager, being angry at my mom and with all the nonsense that was going on. That was really helpful. Um, but you know, I at this point, like I said, I'll basically listen to anything because I got friends that listen to rap, to jazz, so I'll listen to anything pretty much, except um, like 99.4% of today's rap and hip hop, especially Lil Wayne. I cannot stand him. Um, uh, Kanye West is the one I can't stand. Um, you know, or anybody that likes to push fit dicks in their mouth. Um, but yeah. Anyway, um, so pretty much that's my history with music and all the shifts and changes and everything. Um, I'm sorry it took so long. This is gonna be like, over, this is like a half hour answer. Um, and I apologize to everybody. It should have been a lot shorter, but you know, it's yeah. I'm sorry. Anyhow, um, for the few of you that did watch, because I know this is a little bit different. Sorry, I'll shut up. Thanks everybody for watching. Cult leader out.